Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, I want you to do something for me. Ladies, wherever you're listening from right now, in your car, in your kitchen, on your morning walk, I want you to take a moment and think about the last time you went to the doctor. Think about whether they truly listened to you, whether they took your pain seriously, whether you felt heard. For too many women, especially women of colour, the answer to that question is no. And today's story is about what happens when years of not being heard leads to a tragedy that could have been prevented. My name is Sarah, and this is Voices Unheard, a podcast where women share their stories of survival, struggle, and strength. Today I'm speaking with Diane Matthews. Diane is 62 years old. She lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was a devoted wife, a loving mother of 3, and for 30 years, she worked as an administrative assistant at a local insurance company. She was the kind of woman who never missed a day of work, who showed up for everyone in her life, who put others first. But 3 years ago, Diane's life changed forever. After years of begging doctors to take her symptoms seriously, after countless appointments where she was dismissed, ignored, and sent home with nothing. Diane suffered a massive heart attack that left her permanently disabled. She can no longer work. She can barely walk across a room without losing her breath. And the worst part? It didn't have to happen. Diane is here today to share her story because she wants other women to know they're not alone. She wants you to know that your pain is real, that your instincts are right, and that you deserve to be heard. Diane, thank you so much for being brave enough to share your story with us today.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. I need to tell this story. I need other women to hear it.
Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. When did you first realize that something was seriously wrong with your health?
It started about 6 years ago. I was 56. I started having these pains in my chest. Not like a sharp pain, more like pressure. Like someone was sitting on my chest. And I was so tired all the time. I'd come home from work and I couldn't even make dinner. I'd just sit on the couch trying to catch my breath.
And when you went to your doctor with these symptoms, what happened?
That's the thing, Sarah. I went to my doctor over and over again for 3 years. And every single time they told me it was nothing. Stress, weight, anxiety, everything except what it actually was.
Diane, I want you to take us back to the beginning. Tell us everything. Our listeners need to hear this.
Okay, I'll tell you everything. Ladies, if you're listening to this, I need you to hear me. I need you to really hear what I'm about to say. Because what happened to me could happen to you. What happened to me could happen to your daughter, your sister, your best friend. And I don't want anyone else to go through what I've been through. My name is Diane Matthews. I'm 62 years old. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm telling you this story from my living room, sitting in a chair I can't get out of without help, connected to an oxygen machine, with a heart so damaged that doctors say I'm lucky to be alive at all. But I'm not lucky. Lucky would have been if someone had listened to me 3 years ago. Lucky would have been if I'd gotten the treatment I needed before it was too late. Lucky would have been if the color of my skin hadn't determined whether or not my pain was real. Let me start from the beginning because you need to understand how this happened. You need to understand how a woman can beg for help for years and still end up like this. It was October 2018. I was 56 years old. I'd been working at the same insurance company for almost 30 years. Good job, good benefits, good people. I had 3 grown kids, 5 grandkids. My husband Marcus and I had just celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. Life was good. Busy, but good. Then one day at work, I started feeling this weird pressure in my chest, like someone was pressing down on me. It lasted maybe 10 minutes, then went away. I figured it was indigestion. I'd had a big lunch, didn't think much of it, but it kept happening. Every few days, I'd get this pressure. Sometimes it would come with this weird ache in my left arm. Sometimes I'd feel dizzy. Sometimes I'd be so tired I could barely keep my eyes open, even though I'd slept fine the night before. I mentioned it to Marcus. He said I should see a doctor. So I made an appointment with my primary care physician, Dr. Williams. I'd been seeing him for about 5 years. Nice enough man. White, probably in his 50s. Always seemed rushed, but I figured all doctors are like that. I went in for my appointment, told him about the chest pressure, the arm pain, the fatigue. He barely looked up from his computer, asked me about my stress levels at work, asked if I was having any problems at home, asked about my diet. Then he told me to step on the scale. I weighed 215 pounds. I'm 5'6". Yes, I was overweight. I knew that, but I'd been around that weight for 20 years. This was different. This was new. Dr. Williams looked at the scale and said, "Mrs. Matthews, you need to lose weight. That's why you're having these symptoms. Your heart is working too hard carrying that extra weight. I want you to cut out fried foods, start walking 30 minutes a day, and come back in 3 months." That was it. No EKG, no blood work, no physical exam, just lose weight and come back. So I did what he said. I started walking every morning before work. I cut out fried foods, started eating salads for lunch. I lost about 10 pounds over the next 3 months, but the symptoms got worse. The chest pressure started happening more often, sometimes twice a day. The fatigue was so bad I started calling in sick to work, which I never did. I'd worked through the flu, through migraines, through everything. But now I was so exhausted I couldn't even drive to work some days. I went back to Dr. Williams in January 2019, told him the symptoms were worse despite the weight loss. He seemed annoyed that I was back. He asked if I was stressed about something. Was I depressed? Was I going through menopause? Did I want to try an antidepressant? I said, "No, I'm not depressed. Something is wrong with my heart. I can feel it." He sighed, actually sighed, like I was wasting his time. He said, "Mrs. Matthews, you're a middle-aged woman with a stressful job and extra weight. These symptoms are very common. It's anxiety. I can prescribe you something for that if you'd like." I left without the prescription, but I was starting to doubt myself. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was just anxiety. Maybe I was overreacting. But here's the thing, Sarah. Here's the thing I need every woman listening to understand. I knew my body. I'd lived in this body for 56 years. I knew what anxiety felt like. I knew what stress felt like. This was different. This was something wrong. But when a doctor tells you you're imagining things, when they make you feel like you're being hysterical, you start to doubt yourself. You start to think maybe you are crazy. Maybe you are overreacting. So I waited, tried to manage the symptoms on my own, but they kept getting worse. By March, I was having chest pressure almost every day. The arm pain was constant. I was so short of breath I couldn't climb a flight of stairs without stopping halfway. I couldn't play with my grandkids anymore, couldn't go shopping with my daughter, couldn't do anything without feeling like I was going to pass out. My friend Karen, she's white. We'd worked together for 20 years. She noticed I wasn't doing well. We went to lunch one day and I mentioned my symptoms. She got this worried look on her face and said, "Diane, that sounds like heart problems. You need to see a cardiologist." I told her I'd been to my doctor twice and he said it was nothing. She said, "I don't care what he said. Those are classic heart symptoms. My mom had a heart attack last year and that's exactly how it started." So I made another appointment with Dr. Williams. This time I was more forceful. I said I wanted to see a cardiologist. I wanted an EKG. I wanted blood work. Something was wrong and I needed real tests. He looked irritated. He said, "Mrs. Matthews, I've been a doctor for 30 years. I know what a heart attack looks like. If you were having heart problems, you'd be in the emergency room, not sitting in my office. This is anxiety and stress. Now, do you want the antidepressant or not?" I started crying, right there in his office. I said, please just run some tests. I'm begging you." He must have felt bad because he finally agreed to order some blood work and a stress test. But the way he said it, like he was doing me this huge favor, like I was being difficult. The blood work came back and my cholesterol was high, but he said that was expected with my weight. The stress test was scheduled for 6 weeks out. 6 weeks. I had to wait 6 weeks for a test that might tell me what was wrong. In the meantime, Karen went to see her doctor. She mentioned she'd been feeling tired lately, maybe some chest tightness after climbing stairs. Her doctor, also white, also male, immediately ordered an EKG, blood work, and a referral to a cardiologist. Within a week, she'd seen the specialist. They found she had high blood pressure and some early signs of coronary artery disease. Started her on medication right away. When she told me this, I felt sick. She'd had mild symptoms for a few weeks. I'd had severe symptoms for 6 months. She got immediate care. I got told to lose weight and calm down. That's when it hit me. That's when I realized what was happening. This wasn't just about my doctor being dismissive. This was about him not taking a Black woman's pain seriously. This was about stereotypes, about him seeing me as a difficult patient, or someone exaggerating, or someone who probably just wants pain medication. I'd heard about this, medical racism, how Black women are less likely to have their pain taken seriously, how we're more likely to die from heart disease because we're not diagnosed in time, how our maternal mortality rate is 3 times higher than white women's because doctors don't listen to us. But I never thought it would happen to me. I had good insurance. I was educated. I was articulate. I thought that would protect me. It didn't. I finally got my stress test in May. It came back inconclusive. The technician said something about abnormalities, but that the doctor would review it and call me. Dr. Williams called 2 weeks later, said the test showed some minor irregularities, but nothing to worry about. He suggested I continue with diet and exercise, and maybe try yoga for stress management. I was so angry I hung up on him. Then I called my insurance company and demanded a list of cardiologists in my network. I was going to get a second opinion even if I had to pay for it myself. But before I could make that appointment, everything changed. It was June 23, 2019, a Sunday morning. Marcus and I were getting ready for church. I was in the bedroom putting on my dress when I felt this crushing pain in my chest. Not pressure this time. Pain. Like someone had reached into my chest and was squeezing my heart with their fist. I couldn't breathe, couldn't call out. I fell to the floor. Marcus heard the thump and came running. Found me on the floor, gasping, clutching my chest. He called 911 immediately. I remember the ambulance, remember the paramedics, remember one of them saying, "She's having a heart attack. We need to move fast." A heart attack, the thing I'd been trying to tell doctors about for 8 months, the thing they dismissed as anxiety and stress and weight. I was having a heart attack. They rushed me to the emergency room. By the time we got there, I was barely conscious. I remember bright lights, people shouting, someone saying my blood pressure was dropping, someone else saying, "We're losing her." I woke up 3 days later in the ICU. Marcus was there, holding my hand. He was crying. I'd never seen my husband cry before. Not when his mother died, not at our wedding, never. He told me I'd been in a medically induced coma, that I'd had a massive heart attack caused by severe coronary artery disease, that one of my arteries was 95% blocked, that I'd needed emergency surgery, that I'd died on the operating table, and they'd had to resuscitate me. The cardiologist who treated me in the hospital came to talk to me later that day. Dr. Chen, she was an Asian woman, maybe 40, and she was furious, not at me, at the situation. She said, "Mrs. Matthews, I've reviewed your medical records. You showed classic signs of coronary artery disease for at least 8 months. Chest pressure, arm pain, fatigue, shortness of breath. These symptoms should have been taken seriously immediately. You should have been on medication. You should have had stents placed months ago. This heart attack was completely preventable." I asked her why no one listened to me. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Because the system failed you. Because there's documented evidence that Black women's pain is systematically undertreated and ignored. Because too many doctors have unconscious bias that makes them dismiss Black patients' symptoms as exaggeration or drug seeking. I'm so sorry this happened to you." At least someone was honest. At least someone acknowledged what had happened, but the apology didn't change anything. The damage was done. My heart was severely damaged. The surgeon said I'd lost about 40% of my heart function. I would need multiple medications for the rest of my life. I would never fully recover. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital, had 3 more procedures, got fitted with a portable defibrillator in case my heart stopped again, came home to a house I could barely function in. I couldn't work anymore, couldn't climb stairs, couldn't carry groceries, couldn't play with my grandchildren. I'd gone from being independent and active to being disabled and dependent in a matter of weeks. And the worst part, finding out that Karen, my friend with the mild symptoms, she'd gotten her treatment right away, started on medication, made lifestyle changes. Her cardiologist told her she'd probably prevented a heart attack by catching it early. She was fine, completely fine. We'd had similar symptoms, but she was taken seriously, and I wasn't. She got preventive care, and I got dismissed. She's still working, still living her life. And I'm sitting here connected to oxygen, unable to walk to my mailbox. Tell me that's not about race. Tell me that's just coincidence. I dare you. I tried to file a complaint against Dr. Williams, wrote to the medical board, detailed everything that happened. They said there was insufficient evidence of malpractice, that doctors have discretion in how they treat patients, that I should have gone to the emergency room if I felt it was urgent, like it was my fault, like I should have known better than to trust my doctor, like I should have known that as a Black woman, I needed to be twice as sick to be believed. I thought about suing, talked to 3 lawyers. They all said the same thing. Medical malpractice cases are hard to win. Dr. Williams could say he used his clinical judgment, that my symptoms weren't severe enough to warrant immediate intervention, that I failed to follow up aggressively, that I was non-compliant. Non-compliant. That's the word they use when they mean difficult, when they mean didn't accept being dismissed. So there's no justice, no accountability. Dr. Williams is still practicing, still seeing patients, still, probably, dismissing Black women's symptoms as stress and anxiety, and there's nothing I can do about it. But you know what the worst part is? The absolute worst part? I blame myself. Even knowing what I know about medical racism, about bias, about the system, I still blame myself. I think, why didn't I push harder? Why didn't I go to the emergency room? Why didn't I get a second opinion sooner? Why did I let him make me doubt myself? Why wasn't I more aggressive, more demanding, more forceful? My therapist, yes, I'm in therapy now, she says this is common, that victims of systemic racism often internalize the blame, that I was conditioned to be polite and respectful to authority figures, that speaking up for myself was seen as being difficult or angry, and Black women are punished for being angry. But knowing that doesn't make the guilt go away. I still think about all the moments I could have done something different, all the times I could have saved myself. I'm 62 years old. I should be planning retirement trips with Marcus, playing with my grandchildren, living my life. Instead, I'm disabled, on permanent oxygen, can't work, can't do basic things, living on disability payments that are a fraction of what I used to make. Our savings are gone. Medical bills ate through everything. We had to refinance the house. My kids try to help, but they have their own families, their own bills. I feel like a burden, like I'm dragging everyone down with me. And my body is ruined. I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself. I've lost weight, but not in a healthy way. I'm gaunt, tired all the time. My skin is gray. I can't walk more than a few steps without my chest hurting. I can't even hug my grandchildren without getting out of breath. This is my life now, and it didn't have to be. If Dr. Williams had listened to me in October 2018, I'd be fine. I'd be on medication, I'd have had a stent placed, I'd have made lifestyle changes. My heart would be healthy. I'd still be working, still be living. But he didn't listen, and I paid the price. Sarah, I'm telling this story because I need other women to hear it, especially Black women, brown women, any woman who's ever felt dismissed by a doctor, any woman who's been told their pain isn't real, any woman who's been made to feel like they're overreacting. Listen to me. Your pain is real. Your instincts are right. If something feels wrong in your body, it probably is. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself. Don't be polite. Don't be agreeable. Be loud. Be demanding. Be the squeaky wheel. Get a second opinion. Get a third opinion. Go to the emergency room if you have to. Record your appointments. Bring someone with you. Write everything down. Don't let them dismiss you, because the system is not on our side. The statistics don't lie. Black women are 40% more likely to die from heart disease than white women. We're 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications. We're less likely to be prescribed pain medication, less likely to have our symptoms taken seriously, more likely to be dismissed as exaggerating or drug-seeking. This isn't paranoia. This is documented fact. This is medical racism, and it's killing us. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. I don't want another woman to end up like me, sitting in a chair she can't get out of, connected to oxygen, with a damaged heart and a damaged life, wondering why no one believed her. So please, ladies, please. If you're listening to this and you've been having symptoms that your doctor is dismissing, don't wait. Don't be polite. Don't worry about being difficult. Your life is worth more than their comfort. And if you're a white woman listening to this, I'm asking you to be an ally. When your black friends tell you their doctor dismissed them, believe them. Help them advocate for themselves. Go to appointments with them if they need support. Use your privilege to amplify their voices. Because sometimes, sadly, doctors listen to white voices when they won't listen to ours. I'm angry. I'm so angry. I'm angry at Dr. Williams for not listening. I'm angry at the medical system that allowed this to happen. I'm angry at a society that values some lives more than others. I'm angry at myself for not fighting harder. But mostly, I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken at what I've lost. Heartbroken for my husband who has to watch me struggle. Heartbroken for my children who have to see their mother like this. Heartbroken for my grandchildren who don't understand why grandma can't play anymore. And I'm terrified. Terrified that my daughters will face the same thing someday. Terrified that my granddaughters will grow up in a world where their pain isn't believed. Terrified that nothing will change. But I'm also hopeful. Hopeful that by telling this story, I can save someone. Hopeful that women will hear this and speak up for themselves. Hopeful that maybe, just maybe, we can change this system one story at a time. So I'm asking you, everyone listening, please comment wherever you're hearing this. Tell me your city. Tell me your story. Have you experienced this? Has a doctor dismissed your pain? Have you had to fight to be believed? I need to know I'm not alone in this. I need to know there are other women out there who understand, who have survived this, who are fighting this. Because right now, sitting in this chair, connected to this oxygen machine, living this half-life, I need to know it wasn't all for nothing. I need to know that my story matters, that my pain matters, that Black women's lives matter. Please, share this episode. Share your stories. Let's break the silence. Let's hold this system accountable. Let's make sure no other woman has to go through what I went through. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing me. Because for 3 years, no one else did.
Diane, thank you. Thank you for your courage in sharing this story. I know it wasn't easy.
It needed to be told, Sarah. If it saves even one woman, it was worth it.
For everyone listening, Diane's story is not unique. According to the American Heart Association, Black women are 60% more likely to have high blood pressure than white women, and they're more likely to develop it at younger ages. Yet they're less likely to receive appropriate treatment. The statistics are staggering and they're deadly. If you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms like Diane described, chest pressure, arm pain, unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, please don't wait. Go to the emergency room. Demand tests. Get a second opinion. Your life might depend on it. We'll have resources and links in the show notes, including warning signs of heart disease, how to advocate for yourself in medical settings, and organizations working to address medical racism. Diane, is there anything else you want to say to our listeners before we close?
Just this. To every woman listening, especially every Black woman, you deserve to be heard. You deserve quality health care. You deserve to be believed. Don't ever let anyone make you doubt that. Your life has value. Your pain is real. And you matter. Fight for yourself. Because sometimes that's the only way to survive.
Thank you, Diane. And thank you to everyone listening. Please share this episode. Leave a comment with your city and your story. Let's build a community of women who refuse to be silenced.